what are some interesting observations from your end so far about the college football season?
I guess observations really. I feel like the ACC is kind of regressed to like not really regressive. That's like as if it's a bad thing, but I feel like it's like in its 2000s form, where I remember like there was a particular year where in the BCS where Virginia Tech had like four losses and still made when the conference had the or went to the Orange Bowl, and the next year was Georgia Tech. So I think I'm not sure what it is about the ACC, but like whenever there's not a power at the top, like it's like this sort of like power vacuum, and it's really interesting to see it. Like even if you dig back deeper in their history, like the ACC has definitely had that power vacuum at the top. So that is interesting to me. But I think like what I think someone noted this. I want to say it was like Cameron McPherson, good friend, good online friend, mentioned that like he hates that it's the way with conferences, it's who you don't play rather than who you do play and who like the best team is. And I think that's like becoming pretty clear with like the ACC, where last year we could add three unbeaten teams in conference. This year, I don't even know who has like the best path, but like we have that discussion instead. Like the best team in the conference, I think, is Georgia Tech, but they could end up. And I don't even know what their schedule is, what their schedule looks like beyond this week. But like they could end up getting screwed per se because Virginia has a more favorable conference path, and they avoid Miami, and I think Louisville as well. Same thing with like Cal, where Cal is a pretty favorable path too. They just need some help. So it's a really interesting discourse now with conferences where conferences are too big that teams are gonna get screwed. So I guess with that, like that I think the ACC conference race is probably like the most interesting. Or actually, I'll take that back. The American for sure by a far is the most interesting because that's a one bid league, and with the amount of depth, like there's just so much football to be played. But the ACC is second for me, just with how many teams and just with like the different paths to Charlotte that exists.
Yeah, absolutely. And you made a good point on Virginia. Virginia definitely has a favorable schedule. Georgia Tech is not too bad either. I don't think they play Louisville or anything like that. So you've got that. You've got that on their side. So it's really interesting. Just this is the problem you run into. You're never going to be able to fix this with these giant conferences. They did this without thinking, and now that we get to see the end result here, where it's just who's going to play who and how does that factor in the standings. Like, I mean, you even look at the Big Ten, like Ohio State and Indiana appear to be heads and toes above everyone else, and they don't even play each other.
Yeah.
So like
And
you
technically, they
just
don't really play anyone. Their schedules are a little light.
yeah, exactly. Like they don't play the other top teams in the conference, so it's kind of like it makes a whole mess of the situation. And I mean, you even get in like other leagues where like teams kind of opened up with the easier part of their schedule, so we don't even know what they look like yet, and all that kind of fun stuff. So, by the way, eventually interesting conference races. No shout out from action. We have 8 teams. 8 teams that are 3-4, 4-3 right now.
I'll tell you, the Mac and Conference USA, when I make my bowl projections, like it starts off as fun. I'm like, yeah, let me predict these matchups, and like I try to project like 4 games ahead, and I'm like, I really don't know who's gonna do what. That's why like this week for my redshirt sports projections, I was like, you know what, let's just put Kennesaw State in the Independence Bowl because like it's realistic and it's actually hilarious too that a program that has like the Independence Bowl is I think 35 years older than or 2076. 35. I'm a history major. Don't make me do math, but 35 years older than Kennesaw State football is. And like how funny is it that Kennesaw State would play in that bowl game against the power conference team? Like so the MAC, I don't even know who's good and who's bad in the MAC because like it's actually really cool to see. With the exception of UMass, sadly. I know like everyone's rooting for them to or I'm rooting for them to do well certainly, but like everyone's like
um,
like yeah. Yeah, 1 through
I
10.